had to put the shades back on for this one. How to take your business from 0 to 20 employees. I'm only going to give you guys advice on things that I've done, right? Or unless somebody's taught me that's done it, then I'll tell you how that is. But how to take your startup firm from 0 to 20 employees. How did I do it? Let's take this off. I want to watch you guys. So this is easy, right? You can just hire them. Now you want to know how to make the money, right? How to get big enough to hire them. This is a catch-22 video because I want to teach you two things. First, I did do it. I did take my business from 0 to 20 employees and then 40 employees, and we're still growing. But here's my little trick, because you're going to see me in a lot of these videos like, this guy's always alone. What the hell's he doing? He's talking about working remote, talking about having 40 employees. I learned something from the guy who created WordPress. His name was Matt Mulligan. I think Matt Mulligan. Man, I'm sorry, Matt. What do you call it? But I read an article on him, and they were talking about how WordPress developers were all over the world. WordPress is a blogging platform for those who don't know. But basically, he had one like convention / meeting of the minds once a year where he flew everybody to one location. I said, wow, this is interesting, man. You know, this guy had, I think it was over 500 employees. They're all remote. And I said, wow, how efficient is that? And then as you go on and if you've worked in some of these bigger organizations, you see even some of these big Fortune 100 companies, they're changing their employees to remote locations because they realize it's more time efficient. They don't have to pay for the overhead of them having an employee. So how did I do it? I was running an Amazon store last year. I'm still running Amazon stores. But when I figured out a formula of how to grow the store, which basically was a catalog effect, I made another video about that, about just posting more, just post more products. I had the dilemma of hiring new employees. And this is an exciting time in your business because you're making money, right? But you want to keep making money. You want to be profitable. You want to spend it all on growth, right? You want to eat Cheerios in the morning. You need money to do that. So I went online and I realized I work remote. Why can't I hire somebody else that works remote? Now, again, I don't know if I've said this before, but the smartest person that you need for the job is not in your organization. He's probably not in your city. He's not in your state. He might be in your state, right? But he's probably not cost effective in your state. What do I mean by this? When I needed somebody to post items on my Amazon, I did it, right? Like every entrepreneur, you do it at first. And when you figure out it works, you're trying to figure out how to scale it, how to grow it, how to multiply the effect. It took me about a week to put up a couple hundred products. I hired guys on Upwork, on Fiverr, on freelancer.com, off of Craigslist, right? And realized that my efficiency level was incredible, right? Because what it costs for someone to live really good in India is still cheaper than in the United States, or what it costs somebody to live really good in the Philippines or some parts of Asia is really good. And these people are highly educated, right? It's just a difference of the currency exchange that's really you're taking advantage of here. So I started hiring one freelancer and then two freelancers. And before you know it, I had a whiteboard up in my office. And we just have the freelancers' names and then what their task is, right? How much we paid them and a timeline of when they're supposed to get done. But I realized myself just staring at a whiteboard with 20 employees, and on a weekly, I would have the country that each developer was from, or each outsourcer, because it's not just about websites, right? These people can write articles, they can write press releases for you, they can do science experiments for you, they can be your personal assistant. Please go on Fiverr and Upwork and some of these freelance websites to see the services that people are offering out there, and you'll quickly start to realize I can get a press release agent for $200-300 a month working in the US because that person works from home and they're very proficient at it and they're experienced at it, as opposed to hiring a full-time girl to be my PR staff at $5,000 a month, right? I live right outside of New York City. It's expensive here in Connecticut, New York line, right? We live in Fairfield County, so, and a lot of places I like to. San Fran is super expensive, right? New York, super expensive. Chicago, some of these places are expensive. So what I realize is that you get super specialized skill, right, at a fraction of the dollar because these people don't have the overhead. I just made a video. My very last video was talking about how much money you save from working remote. Thousands and thousands of dollars, but just not having to move. So when you're working remote, usually you're doing something that you're really efficient at. You can provide it very quickly, and you're cost competitive, right? And you can choose from the basket of people out there offering services. So To go from 0 to 20, my biggest advice for startups and entrepreneurs is don't hire your first 10, 20 employees. Contract them out. If you have a job to do in your organization, find somebody that can do that job efficiently and effectively and on a timeline, and pay him on a timely basis or on a project by project basis, as opposed to taking on employees that their skill set is never going to be able to match 20, 30 specialized people out there, right? If you need somebody to do a press release kit, and you need another person to write a business plan, and you need another person to run your social media, and you need another person to develop the website, these are not the same people, right? You could get a great resume of a guy that wants $100,000, or even call it $20,000, $10,000, whatever it may be. That person's still not going to be really specialized in all of those areas, as opposed to hiring somebody that's super specialized from the freelance. So really, the short of it is, look, the smartest person, the person for the job, is probably not in your organization, man. They're not around you. You need to go out and find that person. And what better way to find that person than to find someone already advertising the services? If they're confident enough to go out there and offer that service on a freelance website, and more than likely they're confident enough to get the project done. And as far as payments and being trustworthy, most of these sites have escrow accounts. They all have escrow accounts where you don't release the work. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they're going to side with the guy who gave the money if something goes wrong in the transaction. So it sucks for the person doing the work, because sometimes people take advantage of it. But if you're worried about, paying somebody online that you never met, you shouldn't worry too much about that. I've done it hundreds of times. I've been super successful at it. And that's how I grew my company to 20 employees. So one day I woke up and I realized, wow, I have 20 employees. I've never seen any of these guys, right? And now some people are like, oh, I want them next to me. I want to work with them. This is what they're going to say, right? I already hear some of you guys, because I've had over 200 clients. So I've heard it all, from startups to multi-million-dollar companies. And they'll say, oh, we really like to have them around us, or I want to be able to see what they're doing. These are people that like to play business. They don't like to do business, right? You want to make money. You want to grow your organization efficiently and scale effectively, right? It's not about playing business. It's about doing business, right? So a lot of these guys, you want to sit around in an office and act like you got a company, right? You got your nice tie on. Maybe there's a sign on the door that says manager, and you get 20 guys that schlep around all day, and by 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they're like, they're hiding around the water cooler, hoping that the boss isn't around, right? The project guy, he can do it whenever he wants. He can do it at night, he can do it in the morning. It doesn't matter. As long as you get it to me by my time, I'm going to release the money from escrow, right? And that guy's efficient. We're not wasting anybody's time. You're not wasting my time. I'm not wasting your time by getting the project done. So the people who want to talk about, oh, we need them under one roof, start thinking outside of the box, because it's really expensive to house human resources, and they're not all specialized to exactly what you guys need done, right? So I want you guys to think long and hard about that, because playing business and having an office where you open the door, it looks cute, but it's not effective. I've done both. I have an office. I know it's not effective, right? So think about that. It's the fastest way as a startup for you guys to grow. And if you guys are in the Midwest or India or China, in the middle of nowhere, you guys are now on a level playing field, right? You don't have to be in Silicon Valley to get the best developers. You don't have to be in New York to get the best finance guys, right? You can be wherever you want, and you're going to be able to grab and build an awesome organization of specialized skill. That's how I've done it. That's how I continue to do it. I see myself growing an organization and thousands of people one day, and they'll all be somewhere else, not here. Hopefully with their families, living a good time, or on the beach drinking mimosas, whatever they want to do. But the point is, I'm not a micromanager. I feel like you shouldn't have to look over someone to do their job right. And if you do, it's probably not the right guy for the job or girl for the job. So again, I can't say enough about remote working and really grabbing those freelancers online that are specialized skill. When you're at the startup phase, you can't afford to hire somebody to do it all. You can, but you're going to quickly realize not as efficient as having these freelancers on demand, right? Because your business doesn't grow like this, right? If we're on a graph, let's grab this screen and turn it into a graph. Boom, right? That's how you want your business to grow. Most businesses don't grow like that. They grow like this, right? And some of them go down, but you want to go up, right? But on your way, when you're going up and down, it means sometimes you got to hire people. Sometimes you don't need to be paying people, right? I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14 years old. In my 20s, the businesses I started, I made this mistake constantly. I would hire an employee. As soon as I started making money, you hire an employee because that's what you were taught to do, and you need it. You need people, right? It's not that you don't need people, but you need them on a timely basis, right? When you need them, when the money comes in. And what would happen is it was hard to predict as a startup because you don't know what you're doing. You haven't proven your revenue model yet. And even if you have, you don't know how it scales. It could work one way when it's down here, making a couple $1,000, but then when you get to 100,000 and $1,000,000, it changes, right? So my point is you need to be able to hire and fire as quickly as possible. And as opposed to doing that and hiring an employee, you can grab these contractors and hire them out as you need them. So if you need this task done, if business, blows up next month, they're there. They're there. You hire them. If business doesn't blow up next month, then, if you don't make more money next month, then you don't hire those developers. You cut that expense out. That way, you can always make a profit, right? Because you're gonna minus your expenses from your what you brought in, your revenue, and that's gonna be your profit. And if you've got a constant line of expenses that you don't need sometimes, well, you know how that goes, right? Negative numbers, baby. And we don't do negative numbers over here. We keep it all positive. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for this episode. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Subscribe to the page. If you guys like what I'm talking about, share this video with somebody. I'm sorry it went a little bit long, but I really think it's important for startups and entrepreneurs to know this is the most effective way to scale your business today. If we're in 2016, if you're a startup and you're thinking about grabbing a couple thousand square feet and putting office space and all that stuff, and think hard about it, please. That's all I ask. All right, have a great day, guys, and we'll talk soon.